I never expected a Tuesday afternoon at the coffee shop to unravel everything I thought I knew about my life. I was scrolling aimlessly through my phone, nursing a lukewarm latte, when a voice broke the quiet hum around me. "Excuse me, are you Michael?" I looked up. A woman, stunning in that kind of way that makes you notice her without knowing why, was standing there, her eyes sharp but tinged with unease. "Yes," I said cautiously. "Do I know you?" She smiled faintly, but there was no warmth in it. "Not yet. But I think we have a lot to talk about." She slid into the seat across from me without waiting for an invitation, and immediately I felt the air shift, heavy and foreboding. "What is this about?" I asked, my stomach twisting. She leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. "Your wife. She's dating my husband." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I blinked, trying to process them, but they refused to sink in. I don't understand. That's impossible." "I wish it were," she said, her fingers tightening around her coffee cup. "But I've been watching Michael. And I think, maybe we should help each other." Help each other? My mind raced. What could she possibly mean? Then I saw it. The haunted look in her eyes, the same disbelief I was feeling reflected back at me. It started with subtle observations. Emails she left open, whispered phone calls late at night, the way she sometimes smiled when she thought I wasn't looking. I had tried to ignore it, chalk it up to paranoia, but the knot in my chest wouldn't loosen. And now here was this stranger, her pain mirroring mine, telling me the truth I didn't want to face. Her name was Lisa. She told me everything. How she'd found the messages first, how she had confronted her husband, and how he had denied, lied, and gaslighted her. She had gathered proof slowly, quietly, just as I had suspected my wife might be doing the same. "You think she's innocent," Lisa said, leaning forward, her voice urgent. "But she's not. I've been through the lies, Michael. You need to see it for yourself." I hesitated. I didn't want to see it. Part of me hoped it was all a misunderstanding, that my wife, my beautiful, laughing, maddeningly complex wife, was faithful. But the gnawing suspicion in my chest refused to let me ignore the truth. We started to meet in secret, comparing notes, piecing together the web of betrayal. Each revelation cut me deeper than the last. Text messages hidden behind locked apps, secret meetings at places I had no knowledge of, photos taken at odd hours. The woman I loved, who had promised forever, was living a double life. And yet, even in my heartbreak, I felt a strange sense of solidarity with Lisa. We were victims in parallel, two strangers bound together by the same betrayal. Together we traced patterns, uncovered alibis, and built a picture neither of us wanted to see but had to. One night, sitting in her living room surrounded by evidence, she looked at me with exhaustion and grief. "I never thought I'd be doing this with a stranger," she said. Her voice cracked. "But we can't let them get away with it." I nodded, though my hands shook. I thought I could forgive her for anything. But now... I trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. "I know," she said softly. "I know. The confrontation was inevitable. I invited my wife to dinner under the guise of a normal night out. Lisa and I waited separately, a silent agreement between us, each armed with proof and wounded hearts. When she arrived, radiant as ever, laughing at a joke I didn't hear, I felt my world fracture. She sat across from me, oblivious or pretending to be. I looked her straight in the eyes. "We need to talk," I said, my voice trembling with anger and sorrow. She smiled, the kind of smile that once made my heart skip, and now made it sink. "About what?" I placed the photos, the screenshots, and the text messages on the table. Her eyes widened slightly, then narrowed. You've been going through my things?" she asked, voice pitched somewhere between outrage and fear. "I've been paying attention," I said. "And I know everything. About him. About you." The room felt impossibly still. I could hear her heartbeat, rapid and uneven. The waiter cleared his throat nervously in the background. She started, then faltered. "It's complicated." I laughed bitterly. "Complicated? You've been lying, cheating, hiding behind smiles while your husband... while my life crumbled." She looked away, guilt flashing across her face. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "That's not good enough," I said, my voice barely a whisper now, raw and cracked. "You betrayed me. You betrayed us." Later, Lisa and I met in the quiet of the coffee shop again. the weight of the confrontation still heavy on our shoulders. We didn't speak for a long time, just sipped our drinks, letting the silence stretch. Finally, she said, "I'm sorry you had to find out like this." I shook my head. "No. I'm angry. But I'm glad you were here. I couldn't have faced this alone." Her eyes softened, and for the first time that day, I felt a flicker of hope, strange and fragile but real. "We'll get through it," she said. "Even if it's just by knowing we're not alone." I nodded, though my chest ached. Betrayal had changed everything, torn apart the life I thought I knew. But in the shards of that life, I found a strange kind of strength. The truth hurt, yes, but it also freed me. Somewhere deep inside, I realized I couldn't fix what she had broken, but I could reclaim myself. And maybe, just maybe, I could learn to trust slowly, cautiously, in a world where trust had become a weapon. Months later, I stood in the park watching Lisa's children play with mine. Our shared burdens forming a fragile bond, not of romance but of understanding. We never tried to make sense of why our spouses had betrayed us. Some things had no reason. Some things only left scars. But we survived. And that was enough. Because sometimes the people you meet in the darkest moments, strangers who suddenly become allies, are the ones who remind you that heartbreak isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a different kind of courage.